They called me worthless at my father's 60th birthday dinner, laughing as they suggested I apply for jobs at fast food restaurants since my pretend career wasn't working out. 6 months later, when Dad collapsed with chest pains and rushed to the emergency room, his cardiologist looked at our family and said, "You're fortunate Dr. Martinez here is our department head and one of the finest cardiac surgeons on the West Coast." The silence that followed was worth every sleepless night I had endured to prove them wrong. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. My name is Dr. Elena Martinez, and this story begins on what should have been one of the happiest nights of my family's year. Instead, it became the moment that changed everything between us forever. The irony of that evening still amazes me, how a birthday celebration designed to bring our family together ultimately revealed the fundamental misunderstanding that had shaped our relationships for decades. I was 32 years old at the time, working as a resident physician in cardiovascular surgery at San Francisco General Hospital. The position represented the culmination of 15 years of relentless academic and professional pursuit. Beginning with my undergraduate studies in biomedical engineering at Stanford University, and continuing through medical school at UCSF, followed by a demanding surgical residency that consumed every aspect of my life. The path to becoming a cardiac surgeon requires extraordinary commitment that most people cannot comprehend. The training period extends far beyond traditional professional development, demanding complete lifestyle dedication that often conflicts with family expectations and social relationships. During residency, my typical schedule involved 80-hour workweeks, overnight call duties every fourth day, and continuous learning requirements that filled any remaining time. My family never understood the intensity of this commitment. To them, I appeared to be perpetually unavailable, always making excuses to avoid family gatherings, and constantly stressed about work obligations that seemed to take precedence over family relationships. They interpreted my dedication as selfishness rather than recognizing the professional requirements that governed my daily existence. The misunderstanding deepened because my family measured success through traditional markers that differed significantly from medical training progression. They expected visible signs of achievement, including high income, homeownership, marriage, and family establishment. During residency, my annual salary barely exceeded $40,000, requiring me to live in a modest studio apartment while accumulating additional student debt to cover living expenses. My mother, Carmen Martinez, worked as an administrative assistant for a local insurance company where she had built a respectable career over 25 years. She possessed strong opinions about work-life balance and believed that any job requiring excessive hours indicated poor planning or lack of capability. Her perspective reflected genuine concern for my well-being, though she expressed this concern through criticism rather than support. My father, Roberto Martinez, had built a successful construction business from nothing, starting as a day laborer and eventually owning a company that employed 15 people. His success story embodied the American dream of hard work leading to prosperity, and he measured achievement through tangible results including business ownership, employee management, and community respect. He viewed my extended training period as evidence of impractical career choices. My older brother, Miguel, had followed Dad's path into construction management, eventually becoming a project supervisor with steady income and traditional lifestyle markers that met family expectations. He owned a house in the suburbs, had been married for 8 years, and was raising 2 children. Miguel represented everything my parents considered successful about their child-rearing effort. My younger sister, Sophia, had chosen a different but equally approved path, working as a high school mathematics teacher while pursuing her master's degree in education. She demonstrated the intellectual achievement my parents valued while maintaining reasonable working hours and building meaningful community relationships. Sophia embodied the balance between professional accomplishment and personal fulfillment that my parents believed I was missing. The family dynamics created constant tension around my career choices. Every family gathering included conversations about when I would finish my training, when I would start earning real money, and when I would settle down like my sibling. These discussions reflected genuine family concern, though they consistently undermined my confidence and created additional stress during an already challenging period. The geographic distance between my workplace and family home complicated these relationships further. San Francisco General Hospital sat 45 minutes from my parents' house in San Jose, though the demanding schedule meant I rarely had time for visits. When I did attend family events, I often arrived exhausted and preoccupied with upcoming responsibilities, reinforcing their perception that work had consumed my personality. My apartment near the hospital reflected the practical realities of residency life rather than personal preferences. The space contained basic furniture, medical textbooks covering every available surface, and minimal decoration beyond a few family photographs. The environment served functional purposes rather than providing comfort or expressing individuality, contributing to my family's concern about my lifestyle choices. Financial constraints during residency created additional family tension. While my siblings were building equity through homeownership and establishing savings accounts, I continued accumulating debt and living paycheck to paycheck despite my advanced education. The delayed gratification inherent in medical training conflicted with my family's expectations about education leading to immediate financial improvement. The social isolation accompanying surgical residency further complicated family relationships. My colleagues understood the demands we faced, but my family interpreted my limited social life as evidence of poor life choices. They worried that I was sacrificing happiness for professional achievement, not recognizing that surgical training required temporary sacrifice for long-term fulfillment. Dating relationships during residency proved particularly challenging due to schedule unpredictability and emotional exhaustion. My family frequently asked about romantic prospects while suggesting that my career focus was preventing me from finding happiness. These conversations created additional pressure during a period when personal relationships required more energy than I possessed. The complexity of cardiac surgery as a specialty meant that even my medical school friends, who had chosen different paths, struggled to understand my daily experiences. Cardiac procedures require precision, stamina, and decision-making capability under extreme pressure. The learning curve extends beyond technical skill development to include emotional resilience building and crisis management expertise. My attending physicians at San Francisco General recognized my potential early in the residency program. Patricia Wong, the department chief, had become an unofficial mentor who provided guidance beyond technical instruction. She understood the unique challenges facing women in cardiac surgery and offered perspective on navigating professional advancement while managing family expectations. The hospital environment itself demanded constant adaptation and learning. Each patient case presented unique challenges requiring creative problem-solving and collaborative decision-making with multidisciplinary teams. The intellectual stimulation of this work provided deep satisfaction that sustained me through difficult periods, though explaining this satisfaction to family members proved challenging. Research responsibilities complemented clinical duties during residency, requiring evening and weekend hours for data analysis, literature review, and manuscript preparation. My research focused on minimally invasive cardiac procedures, contributing to advancing surgical techniques, while building the publication record necessary for fellowship applications and future career advance. The financial investment in medical education represented a calculated risk that would eventually provide substantial returns, though the timeline extended far beyond my family's expectations. Medical school debt totaled nearly $300,000, requiring strategic repayment planning that would begin once I completed residency and fellowship training. Professional networking within the cardiac surgery community revealed opportunities for future specialization and geographic preferences. The field offered numerous subspecialty options including pediatric cardiac surgery, heart transplantation, and robotic surgical technique. Each pathway required additional fellowship training beyond residency completion. My family's concerns about work-life balance reflected legitimate worries about my long-term happiness and health. The demanding nature of surgical training can create burnout and relationship difficulties that affect quality of life even after training completion. However, their criticism often felt unsupportive rather than constructively concerned. The upcoming birthday dinner for my father represented another opportunity for family tension around these issues. I had requested time off from the hospital specifically to attend the celebration, Understanding the importance of family relationships despite our ongoing disagreements about my career choices, the evening promised to test my patience once again. My father's 60th birthday held special significance for our family, marking a milestone that deserved celebration and reflection on his achievement. The planned dinner at his favorite restaurant represented a rare opportunity for our entire family to gather without competing obligations or distractions. I approached the evening with optimism despite anticipating familiar conversations about my career progression. The preparation for this dinner had required careful schedule coordination with my residency supervisors, demonstrating my commitment to family relationships despite professional demand. I had arranged coverage for my clinical responsibilities and postponed research activities to ensure complete availability for the celebration. This effort represented significant sacrifice given the competitive nature of residency training. My choice of attire for the dinner reflected an attempt to project success and professionalism despite my family's concerns about my lifestyle. I selected a conservative dress that conveyed competence while remaining appropriate for family dining. The goal was to present evidence of my professional development, while avoiding conversations about financial constraints or lifestyle limitations. The drive from my apartment to the restaurant provided time for mental preparation and stress management. I practiced responses to likely questions about my career timeline, relationship status, and future plans. The goal was to maintain family harmony while accurately representing my professional commitments and personal satisfaction with my chosen path. The restaurant my father had chosen for his birthday celebration reflected his preferences for traditional family dining with comfortable atmosphere and generous portions. The establishment held sentimental value for our family, having hosted numerous celebrations over the years. The familiar environment promised to create positive associations while providing neutral ground for family interactions. As I walked into the restaurant that evening, I carried both hope for meaningful family connection and apprehension about potential conflicts around familiar topics. The birthday celebration represented an opportunity to demonstrate my love for my father while navigating the ongoing tension around my career choices and lifestyle decisions. The evening would prove to be far more significant than any of us anticipated. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. The foundation had been established for a confrontation that would ultimately transform our family dynamics forever. My years of dedicated training and professional development had created expertise and authority that my family did not yet recognize. Their perception of my choices as impractical would soon be challenged by circumstances none of us could have predicted. The irony of the evening ahead centered on the vast difference between my family's perception of my worth and the reality of my professional capabilities. They saw someone who had made poor life choices and failed to achieve traditional success markers. The medical community saw someone who was developing into an exceptional cardiac surgeon with the potential to save lives and advance surgical technique. This disparity between perception and reality had shaped our relationships for years, creating distance and misunderstanding that affected every interaction. The birthday dinner would finally provide an opportunity for truth to emerge, though not in any way we might have expected. The evening would demonstrate how family assumptions can be completely wrong about someone's value and capabilities. The stage was set for a revelation that would change everything. The weeks leading up to my father's birthday dinner revealed the deep-seated patterns that governed our family relationships and highlighted the fundamental misunderstandings that had been building for years. These patterns had become so entrenched that none of us recognized how destructive they had become to authentic communication and mutual support. My typical week at San Francisco General Hospital began each Monday at 5:30 in the morning with pre-rounds preparation, reviewing patient charts and surgical schedules, while consuming coffee that served as both fuel and comfort during the demanding days ahead. The cardiac surgery department operated with military precision, requiring absolute punctuality and thorough preparation for every patient interaction and surgical procedure. The morning rounds with Dr. Wong and the cardiology team provided essential learning opportunities, while demonstrating the collaborative nature of cardiac care. Each patient case required comprehensive analysis including medical history review, diagnostic interpretation, surgical planning, and postoperative care coordination. These rounds typically consumed 3 hours daily, establishing treatment protocols and monitoring patient progress. Following rounds, the surgical schedule determined the remainder of each day. As a senior resident, I had progressed to performing primary surgical roles under attending supervision, including complex procedures, such as coronary artery bypass grafting, valve repairs, and occasionally assisting with heart transplant surgery. These operations required intense concentration and physical stamina, often extending 8 to 12 hours depending on case complexity. The technical demands of cardiac surgery necessitated continuous skill refinement through simulation training, cadaveric practice, and observation of advanced procedure. The department maintained sophisticated training facilities, including robotic surgery simulators and perfusion training equipment that allowed residents to develop expertise in emerging surgical technology. Between surgical cases, administrative responsibilities included dictating operative reports, reviewing laboratory results, consulting with other specialists, and communicating with patient families about surgical outcomes and recovery expectations. These activities required exceptional organizational skills and emotional intelligence, particularly when delivering difficult news about complications or uncertain prognosis. Evening hours were typically devoted to research activities, including data collection for ongoing clinical studies, literature reviews for upcoming presentations, and manuscript preparation for medical journal submission. My current research project examined outcomes following minimally invasive cardiac surgery techniques, requiring statistical analysis and correlation with patient demographic factors. The call schedule rotated every fourth night, requiring overnight hospital presence to manage emergency situations and provide continuous patient monitoring. Call nights often involved responding to cardiac arrests, evaluating emergency department consultations, and managing postoperative complications that arose during nighttime hours. Sleep deprivation had become a constant companion during residency training, affecting cognitive function, emotional regulation, and physical health in ways that compounded over months and years. The medical community acknowledged these challenges, while maintaining that the intensive training experience prepared surgeons for the demands of independent practice. Financial pressures created additional stress beyond the demanding work schedule. My monthly income of $3,400 barely covered living expenses in the San Francisco Bay Area, requiring careful budgeting and sacrificing comfort for financial stability. Student loan payments had been deferred during residency, but continued accumulating interest that increased my total debt burden. My studio apartment near the hospital reflected these financial constraints, while prioritizing proximity to work over living comfort. The space contained essential furniture including a bed, desk, and small dining table, with medical textbooks and journals occupying most available surfaces. The environment served functional purposes rather than providing emotional comfort or personal expression. Grocery shopping occurred sporadically between work obligations, often resulting in meals consisting of convenience foods that could be prepared quickly or consumed between cases. The hospital cafeteria provided most meals during working days, though the nutritional quality varied significantly and eating schedules remained unpredictable. Exercise routines had been abandoned due to time constraints and physical exhaustion, contributing to declining fitness levels and increased stress symptoms. The hospital gymnasium remained largely unused despite its availability, as most residents struggled to find energy for voluntary physical activity after demanding work shifts. Social relationships outside the medical field had gradually diminished as friends from college and previous life stages struggled to understand the demands of surgical training. Most social interactions occurred with fellow residents who shared similar schedules and professional challenges, creating an insular community that reinforced the intensity of medical training culture. Dating remained nearly impossible due to schedule unpredictability and emotional unavailability, resulting from work stress and exhaustion. Previous romantic relationships had ended when partners became frustrated with my limited availability and apparent prioritization of career advancement over relationship development. Family communication had become increasingly strained as my parents and siblings interpreted my limited contact as evidence of changing values and diminishing family loyalty. Phone calls often ended in frustration when I needed to respond to hospital pages or postpone conversations due to patient emergency. My mother's weekly phone calls typically included questions about my eating habits, sleep schedule, and social activities, followed by expressions of concern about my apparent isolation and work obsession. These conversations, though well-intentioned, often increased my stress levels rather than providing emotional support. The contrast between my siblings' life progression and my extended training period became more pronounced each year. Miguel had recently purchased a larger house and was planning a family vacation to Hawaii, while Sophia had received a promotion to department head at her school and was engaged to a fellow teacher. Family gatherings revealed these disparities through conversations about home improvements, vacation planning, and future family expansion that highlighted my absence from traditional life milestones. My contributions to these discussions often focused on work experiences that my family found either boring or concerning. My parents' concerns about my career choice had evolved from initial pride in my medical school acceptance to growing worry about the personal costs of surgical training. They observed my increasing isolation and apparent unhappiness without understanding that these sacrifices were temporary investments in long-term professional fulfillment. The financial aspect of my training particularly troubled my father, who valued financial independence and viewed my continued dependence on loans as evidence of poor planning. His construction business had provided steady income growth throughout his career, making my current financial situation difficult for him to understand or accept. My mother's administrative work environment emphasized regular hours and predictable responsibilities, leading her to interpret my schedule variability as evidence of disorganization or exploitation by hospital administration. She frequently suggested that I should demand better working conditions without understanding the educational nature of residency training. The cultural expectations within our Latino family emphasized strong family relationships and regular participation in family events, making my frequent absences from celebrations and gatherings particularly problematic. My parents interpreted these absences as evidence of assimilation to American individualism that conflicted with traditional family values. Extended family members often asked my parents about my progress through medical training, creating additional pressure for them to explain and defend my choices. These conversations typically revealed their own uncertainty about my timeline for completing training and beginning independent practice. The upcoming birthday celebration for my father represented a particular challenge because previous family gatherings had become increasingly uncomfortable due to these underlying tensions. My attempts to explain my work demands often sounded like excuses rather than legitimate explanations, contributing to the perception that I prioritized career over family. Dr. Wang had recently begun discussions about fellowship opportunities following completion of my residency program, including options for pediatric cardiac surgery, heart transplantation, and minimally invasive technique. These opportunities required additional training periods ranging from 1 to 3 years, extending my timeline for achieving financial independence and personal life stability. The fellowship discussion created internal conflict about how to manage family expectations while pursuing optimal career development. Each additional training year represented both enhanced expertise and delayed gratification that would be difficult to explain to family members who already questioned my career timeline. Recent surgical experiences had demonstrated my growing competence and confidence in complex procedures, earning recognition from attending physicians and positive feedback from nursing staff. These professional accomplishments provided personal satisfaction while highlighting the gap between my family's perception and my actual professional development. Patient interactions had become increasingly meaningful as I developed skills in communicating complex medical information and providing emotional support during difficult periods. The ability to offer hope and healing to families facing cardiac crises provided purpose that sustained me through the demanding training process. The research component of my residency had yielded preliminary results suggesting that minimally invasive techniques could reduce patient recovery time while maintaining surgical outcomes comparable to traditional approaches. This work had attracted attention from national cardiac surgery conferences and potential publication opportunities. Teaching responsibilities for junior residents and medical students had revealed my aptitude for medical education and leadership development. These experiences suggested potential career paths that could combine clinical practice with academic medicine, though such positions typically required additional research training and fellowship completion. The hospital's reputation for cardiac surgery excellence meant that my training experience included exposure to the most complex cases and advanced surgical techniques available in the field. This exposure provided exceptional learning opportunities while creating performance pressure that demanded continuous improvement and adaptation. Professional relationships with attending physicians had evolved from simple supervision to mentorship and collaborative discussion about complex cases and career development. These relationships provided guidance and support that my family relationships currently lacked, creating additional distance between my professional and personal life. The upcoming performance evaluation for my residency program would determine my eligibility for chief resident responsibilities during my final training year. This position represented recognition of clinical competence and leadership potential while providing additional experience in program administration and resident education. Financial planning for the post-residency period required consideration of multiple factors including fellowship opportunities, geographic preferences, practice settings, and loan repayment strategy. The complexity of these decisions reflected the advanced stage of my training while highlighting the continued uncertainty about specific career outcomes. My father's birthday dinner would occur during a particularly demanding period of my residency schedule, requiring special arrangements with supervisors and colleagues to ensure complete availability for the celebration. This effort represented my continued commitment to family relationships despite the ongoing tension about my career choice. The restaurant reservation had been made weeks in advance at my father's favorite establishment, ensuring that the celebration would meet his preferences while providing neutral territory for family interaction. The familiar environment promised to minimize external stressors while focusing attention on family dynamics and relationship quality. Recent conversations with my siblings had revealed their continued confusion about my career timeline and growing concern about my apparent isolation from family activity. These discussions often included suggestions about alternative career paths that would provide better work-life balance and more immediate financial return. The preparation for the birthday dinner included careful consideration of topics to avoid and strategies for maintaining positive conversation despite predictable questions about my career progress and personal life satisfaction. The goal was to honor my father while managing family tensions that had been building for months. The contrast between my professional confidence and personal uncertainty had become more pronounced as my surgical skills advanced while my family relationships deteriorated. This disconnect created emotional strain that affected both my work performance and personal well-being, requiring conscious effort to maintain balance. The medical community's recognition of my potential provided external validation that contrasted sharply with my family's concerns about my choices. This disparity created confusion about my actual progress and worth, contributing to self-doubt despite objective evidence of professional success. The birthday celebration would test my ability to maintain family connections while representing my career accurately and positively. The evening promised to reveal whether the underlying tensions could be addressed constructively or would continue to damage our relationship. The morning of my father's birthday dinner began with an emergency surgery that would fundamentally alter my perspective on family relationships and professional identity. The case involved a 47-year-old construction worker who had suffered a massive heart attack during his shift, requiring immediate intervention to save his life. As I prepared for the procedure, I had no awareness that this patient's circumstances would create profound parallels to my own family situation. The patient, James Morrison, had collapsed while operating heavy machinery at a commercial construction site. His coworkers described him as a dedicated family man who worked overtime consistently to provide for his wife and 3 teenage children. The emergency medical technicians had performed cardiopulmonary resuscitation during transport, maintaining circulation until he reached our cardiac catheterization laboratory. Dr. Wong assigned me as the primary surgeon for the emergency coronary artery bypass procedure, representing significant trust in my capabilities after 3 years of intensive training. The operation required precise technique and rapid decision-making to restore blood flow to the damaged heart muscle before permanent injury occurred. This level of responsibility demonstrated the professional confidence that my family failed to recognize. During the preoperative briefing, James Morrison's wife arrived at the hospital with their children, displaying the type of supportive family dynamic that I observe daily among patients, but rarely experienced personally. Their immediate concern focused entirely on his recovery and survival, with no discussion about work schedules, financial implications, or competing priorities that might interfere with their support. The contrast between this family's unified response to crisis and my own family's consistent criticism of my career dedication became increasingly apparent as I prepared for surgery. While the Morrison family demonstrated unconditional support for their loved one's professional responsibilities, my family viewed my work commitments as evidence of misplaced priorities and poor life choices. The surgical procedure proceeded successfully over 6 hours, requiring meticulous attention to detail while coordinating with perfusion technicians, anesthesiologists, and surgical assistants. The complexity of the case demanded every skill I had developed during residency training, validating years of sacrifice and intensive preparation that my family dismissed as excessive dedication. Throughout the operation, I maintained focus on technical precision while managing multiple variables including blood pressure stability, cardiac rhythm monitoring, and graft placement optimization. The successful completion of this procedure represented the culmination of countless hours of training and demonstrated my evolution into a competent cardiac surgeon capable of saving lives. The post-operative discussion with the Morrison family provided profound insight into how families respond when they truly understand and appreciate the significance of medical intervention. James Morrison's wife expressed gratitude that transcended polite courtesy, recognizing that surgical expertise had preserved her husband's life and maintained their family's future together. This interaction highlighted the stark difference between professional recognition and family understanding of my career value. While patients and colleagues acknowledged the significance of cardiac surgery expertise, my family continued to view my professional development as an extended phase of impractical education that delayed real-life achievement. The successful surgery concluded just 3 hours before my father's birthday dinner, leaving insufficient time to return home and prepare adequately for the family celebration. I remained at the hospital to monitor James Morrison's initial recovery, while managing the transition from surgical intensity to family interaction expectations. The post-operative monitoring revealed excellent surgical outcomes with stable cardiac function and appropriate healing response. The patient's vital signs remained within optimal ranges, indicating successful restoration of coronary circulation and minimal surgical complications. This result validated my technical competence, while providing deep personal satisfaction that sustained me through challenging periods. The documentation process for the surgical case required detailed operative reports describing procedural techniques, complications encountered, and post-operative care recommendations. This administrative responsibility consumed additional time, while ensuring proper medical records and billing accuracy for the complex procedure. Communication with the Morrison family during the early recovery period demonstrated their profound appreciation for the surgical intervention and professional expertise that had saved their loved one's life. Their genuine gratitude contrasted sharply with my family's general dismissal of my career significance and personal sacrifice. The preparation for leaving the hospital to attend my father's birthday dinner required coordination with the night call team and thorough patient status updates to ensure continuity of care during my absence. This handoff process reflected the collaborative nature of cardiac surgery, while demonstrating my professional responsibility and patient advocacy. The drive from San Francisco General Hospital to the restaurant in San Jose provided time for mental transition from the intensity of emergency surgery to family celebration expectation. The contrast between saving a life and managing family criticism about career choices created emotional dissonance that affected my preparation for the evening ahead. The physical exhaustion from 6 hours of complex surgery combined with emotional satisfaction from successful patient outcomes created a unique psychological state as I approached the family dinner. The professional accomplishment provided confidence while the anticipated family criticism generated anxiety about defending my career choices once again. The restaurant parking lot revealed the arrival of extended family members who typically attended significant celebrations, indicating that the birthday dinner would include relatives who possessed limited understanding of my professional circumstance. These family members often contributed to discussions about my career timeline and personal life choices without adequate knowledge of medical training requirements. My appearance upon entering the restaurant reflected the immediate transition from surgical scrubs to business casual attire, though my exhaustion remained evident despite efforts to project energy and enthusiasm for the celebration. The physical demands of complex surgery created fatigue that family members might interpret as disinterest in family activity. The initial greetings with family members revealed their continued focus on traditional success markers including homeownership progress, vacation planning, and relationship development, rather than professional achievement or career advancement. These conversation topics consistently highlighted areas where my circumstances differed from family expectations. My father appeared genuinely pleased by the family gathering while expressing mild concern about my late arrival and apparent tiredness. His questions about my day reflected general interest rather than specific understanding of the significance of emergency cardiac surgery or the professional responsibility involved in such procedure. The restaurant atmosphere provided a comfortable setting for family celebration while creating neutral territory for potentially difficult conversations about career progress and life satisfaction. The familiar environment promised to minimize external stressors while focusing attention on family relationship dynamics. The dinner conversation began with traditional birthday acknowledgments and expressions of family appreciation for my father's achievements and personal quality. These discussions revealed the family's capacity for recognizing and celebrating success when it aligned with their understanding of valuable accomplishment. As the evening progressed, the conversation gradually shifted toward individual family member updates and future planning discussions that typically included questions about my career timeline and personal life development. These transitions occurred predictably during family gatherings, creating anxiety about defending choices that required explanation rather than celebration. My siblings shared updates about their professional advancement and personal life satisfaction that consistently aligned with family expectations for success and stability. Miguel described recent construction projects and business expansion opportunities, while Sophia discussed her educational leadership responsibilities and wedding planning progress. The contrast between their straightforward success narratives and my complex career development timeline became increasingly apparent as family members struggled to understand the significance of residency training and fellowship preparation. Their achievements required minimal explanation, while my progress demanded constant justification. My mother's questions about my living situation and financial stability reflected genuine concern about my well-being, while revealing her continued confusion about the temporary nature of residency constraint. Her administrative work experience provided limited context for understanding the delayed gratification inherent in surgical training. The family's discussion about homeownership and real estate investment opportunities highlighted their focus on wealth accumulation and asset building that contrasted sharply with my current financial circumstance. These conversations consistently reinforced the perception that my career choices had delayed traditional success achievement. Extended family members contributed observations about my appearance and demeanor that suggested concern about my health and happiness, without recognizing the natural effects of demanding professional training. Their comments often implied that my career pursuit was negatively affecting my personal well-being. The birthday celebration continued with traditional cake cutting and gift presentations that demonstrated family affection and celebration capabilities when focused on appropriate occasions. The positive family dynamics during these moments highlighted their capacity for support and encouragement, when circumstances aligned with their expectations. My father's expression of gratitude for the family gathering and birthday recognition revealed his genuine appreciation for family relationships, while suggesting his awareness of the tensions surrounding my career circumstance. His comments indicated desire for family harmony despite ongoing concerns about my choices. The conversation gradually returned to individual circumstances and future planning, as family members shared their immediate goals and longer-term aspirations. These discussions consistently revealed satisfaction with current progress and optimism about future development, that contrasted with the perceived uncertainty of my circumstance. The restaurant service and meal quality provided positive external factors that supported family celebration, while creating opportunities for comfortable conversation and relationship building. The evening's success depended largely on managing underlying tensions, while maintaining focus on birthday celebration purposes. As the dinner progressed toward its conclusion, the family dynamics revealed both supportive capacity and critical tendencies that characterized our relationships during this period. The underlying love and concern remained evident, despite disagreements about career priorities and life satisfaction measures. The anticipation of difficult conversations about my career progress and personal life choices created increasing tension as the evening advanced toward topics that typically generated conflict during family gatherings. The successful surgery earlier that day provided personal confidence, while the family criticism threatened to undermine professional accomplishment satisfaction. The stage was set for the confrontation that would finally reveal the vast difference between family perception and professional reality regarding my career development and personal work. The evening would demonstrate how completely wrong assumptions could be about someone's capabilities and significance within their chosen field. The conversation that would fundamentally alter our family dynamics began innocuously during dessert service, when my uncle Carlos asked what appeared to be a routine question about my career progress. His inquiry seemed genuine rather than critical, though the response it generated would expose years of accumulated frustration and misunderstanding that had been building beneath the surface of our family relationship. Uncle Carlos worked as a manager at a telecommunications company and represented the extended family's perspective on professional success and career advancement. His career trajectory had followed traditional patterns, including steady promotions, salary increases, and management responsibilities that aligned with conventional measures of achievement. His question reflected genuine curiosity about my timeline for completing medical training and achieving similar professional stability. The question itself contained assumptions about my circumstances that revealed the family's fundamental misunderstanding of my career development process. Uncle Carlos asked when I planned to finish my education and begin practicing medicine, as if residency training represented extended schooling rather than professional employment with significant patient care responsibilities and surgical expertise development. My initial response attempted to explain the distinction between medical school completion and residency training, while describing my current role as a senior resident with substantial surgical responsibility. This explanation required technical detail about medical training progression that exceeded my family's knowledge base, while highlighting the complexity of surgical education. The family's reaction to my explanation revealed their continued confusion about the significance of residency training and fellowship preparation within medical career development. Their questions focused on timeline completion rather than professional accomplishment, demonstrating their inability to recognize the advanced expertise I had already developed during 3 years of intensive training. My mother interjected with concerns about the extended timeline for achieving financial independence and traditional life milestones that reflected her ongoing worry about my choices. Her comments suggested that medical training represented an unnecessarily prolonged educational phase that prevented me from establishing the stability that characterized my siblings' circumstance. The conversation escalated when my cousin Patricia, who worked as a pharmaceutical sales representative, suggested that my career path seemed unnecessarily complicated compared to other medical positions that required less training but provided more immediate financial return. Her observation implied that surgical training represented poor decision-making rather than professional dedication to advanced expertise development. My father's contribution to the discussion revealed his continued confusion about the financial aspects of medical training and the delayed gratification inherent in surgical education. His comments focused on the practical considerations of earning potential and timeline for loan repayment, rather than recognizing the professional significance of cardiac surgery specialization. The family's collective response demonstrated their inability to comprehend the competitive nature of cardiac surgery residency selection and the prestigious nature of my training position at San Francisco General Hospital. Their comments treated my circumstances as evidence of extended education rather than recognition of exceptional performance and professional potential. Miguel's observation that his construction management career had provided immediate financial stability and traditional lifestyle benefits created an implicit comparison that highlighted the perceived disadvantages of my career choice. His success narrative emphasized practical outcomes that contrasted sharply with my current circumstances during residency training. Sophia's contribution focused on work-life balance considerations and her ability to maintain regular schedules and personal relationships while pursuing professional advance. Her comments suggested that my career choice had created unnecessary personal sacrifices that indicated poor priority management rather than professional dedication. The discussion reached a critical turning point when my Aunt Maria suggested that I should consider alternative career paths that would provide better work-life balance and more immediate financial return. Her recommendation reflected the family's collective belief that my current trajectory represented suboptimal decision-making that could be corrected through different choices. Uncle Carlos reinforced this perspective by questioning the practical value of extended surgical training when other medical specialties required less time investment, while providing adequate income and professional satisfaction. His comments revealed the family's fundamental failure to understand the unique requirements and rewards of cardiac surgery practice. The conversation's tone shifted dramatically when my cousin Patricia made the observation that would trigger my eventual response. She suggested that my current lifestyle resembled that of a perpetual student rather than a professional adult, implying that my circumstances reflected immaturity or inability to transition to independent adulthood. My mother's agreement with this assessment created the emotional catalyst that would transform the evening's dynamic. Her comment that I appeared to be avoiding real-world responsibilities by remaining in extended training programs revealed her complete misunderstanding of residency requirements and professional development process. The collective family response created a unanimous perspective that my career choice represented poor judgment and that my current circumstances indicated failure to achieve traditional success markers. Their comments suggested that immediate career change would improve my life satisfaction and align my circumstances with family expectations. My father's final contribution to this discussion phase involved expressing disappointment that my educational investment had not yet produced the financial stability and professional recognition that he had anticipated when I began medical school. His comments revealed his confusion about the timeline for medical career development and the significance of surgical training. The family's discussion continued without soliciting my perspective or acknowledging my professional accomplishments during residency training. Their conversation proceeded as if my career represented a problem requiring collective family intervention, rather than recognizing my expertise and professional advancement within the medical community. The emotional impact of hearing my career described as evidence of poor decision-making and delayed maturation created profound disappointment about my family's inability to recognize my professional development and personal dedication. Their comments suggested fundamental misunderstanding of my circumstances and achievements. The restaurant environment provided neutral territory for this confrontation while creating public constraints that initially prevented emotional escalation. The family celebration context made direct confrontation inappropriate, though the underlying tension continued building as the discussion progressed without acknowledgement of my perspective or achievement. My internal response to the family's collective criticism involved recognition that years of attempting to explain my career circumstances had failed to create an understanding or appreciation for my professional development. Their consistent focus on traditional success markers indicated fundamental incompatibility between their values and my career requirements. The realization that my family viewed my career as evidence of failure rather than recognizing my professional competence created profound emotional distance that had been developing gradually but crystallized during this conversation. Their inability to acknowledge my achievements suggested that continued explanation efforts would remain unsuccessful. The catalyst moment occurred when Uncle Carlos made the statement that would finally prompt my response. He suggested that I should consider applying for positions at local clinics or urgent care facilities that would provide regular hours and immediate income without requiring additional training or specialization. This recommendation revealed such complete misunderstanding of my professional qualifications and career trajectory that it demanded correction. The suggestion that I should abandon cardiac surgery training to work in urgent care demonstrated the family's inability to comprehend the significance of my expertise and professional development. My cousin Patricia reinforced this perspective by suggesting that medical careers offered numerous options that did not require the extreme dedication and lifestyle sacrifices that characterized my current circumstance. Her comments implied that my choices reflected unnecessary commitment to specialized training rather than professional excellence pursuit. The family's collective agreement with these suggestions created the emotional breaking point that would transform the evening's trajectory. The unanimous perspective that my career represented poor decision-making and that immediate change would improve my circumstances revealed complete disconnection from my professional reality. My mother's final comment during this phase involved expressing hope that I would consider their advice and make changes that would allow me to achieve the stability and happiness that characterized my siblings' circumstance. Her statement revealed genuine concern while demonstrating complete misunderstanding of my professional satisfaction and career significance. The emotional intensity of this moment created the internal catalyst that would prompt my response and ultimately transform our family dynamic. The realization that my family viewed my career as evidence of failure rather than professional achievement generated the motivation necessary to defend my choices and educate them about my actual circumstance. The preparation for my response involved recognition that years of gentle explanation had failed to create understanding, and that direct confrontation had become necessary to establish accurate perception of my professional reality. The family's collective criticism demanded comprehensive response that would challenge their assumptions and establish proper context for my career significance. The restaurant setting provided both constraints and opportunities for the confrontation that would follow. The public environment required measured response, while the family's celebration context demanded respect for my father's birthday, despite the need to address fundamental misunderstandings about my career value and professional accomplishment. The stage was established for the revelation that would demonstrate the vast difference between family perception and professional reality regarding my expertise and significance within the medical community. The evening would prove how completely wrong their assumptions had been about my capabilities and career value. The moment following my family's collective criticism created an internal battlefield where competing impulses wrestled for dominance. One part of me desired to maintain family harmony by accepting their perspective and avoiding confrontation during my father's birthday celebration. Another part recognized that their fundamental misunderstanding of my professional reality demanded immediate correction, regardless of social context or potential relationship consequences. The emotional complexity of this situation extended beyond simple disagreement about career choices to encompass deeper questions about family loyalty, professional identity, and personal self. My family's unanimous criticism suggested that maintaining their approval required abandoning the career path that provided profound personal fulfillment and represented years of dedicated preparation and sacrifice. The internal resistance to confronting my family stemmed from deeply ingrained patterns of conflict avoidance that had characterized our relationships throughout my adult life. Previous discussions about my career had typically ended with my diplomatic withdrawal from contentious topics rather than forceful defense of my choices and achievements. This approach had preserved surface harmony while allowing fundamental misunderstandings to persist and compound over time. The consideration of potential consequences from direct confrontation created significant anxiety about permanently damaging relationships that, despite their current dysfunction, remained emotionally important to me. The possibility that defending my career might result in family rejection or long-term relationship deterioration represented a risk that required careful evaluation against the benefits of establishing accurate understanding of my circumstance. The professional confidence I had developed through successful surgical training contrasted sharply with the personal insecurity I experienced during family interaction. In the operating room, I possessed clear authority and demonstrated competence that earned respect from colleagues and gratitude from patients. Within my family context, I consistently felt defensive and inadequate despite objective evidence of professional achievement and expertise development. This disparity between professional and personal confidence reflected the powerful influence of family dynamics on self-perception and emotional regulation. The medical community recognized my capabilities and potential through competitive residency selection, positive performance evaluations, and progressive responsibility advancement. My family viewed these same achievements as evidence of poor life choices and delayed maturation. The internal conflict intensified as I considered the various approaches available for responding to their criticism. Complete silence would maintain immediate peace while reinforcing their misconceptions and allowing their unified perspective to stand unchallenged. Gentle correction had proven ineffective during previous discussions and would likely generate continued misunderstanding. Direct confrontation offered the possibility of establishing accurate perception while risking relationship damage and social disruption. The evaluation of my family's motivations revealed genuine concern for my well-being, combined with fundamental ignorance about medical career requirements and professional development timeline. Their criticism emerged from love and worry rather than malicious intent, though their recommendations demonstrated complete disconnection from my professional reality and personal satisfaction with my chosen path. The consideration of alternative explanations for their perspective included the possibility that my communication about my career had been adequate or unclear, contributing to their misunderstanding. Previous discussions had often occurred during brief phone calls or hurried family gatherings that provided insufficient time for comprehensive explanation of medical training complexity and professional significance. The cultural context of our Latino family values emphasized collective decision-making and family support for major life choices, creating additional pressure to align my career with family expectations and preference. My individual pursuit of professional excellence in a demanding field conflicted with traditional emphasis on family proximity and shared decision-making processes. The financial aspects of my current circumstances provided legitimate foundation for family concern, as my residency salary and accumulated debt created apparent evidence of poor economic outcomes despite my advanced education. The delayed financial benefits of surgical training were difficult to explain to family members who measured success through immediate economic returns and traditional wealth accumulation markers. The geographic distance between my workplace and family home had inadvertently contributed to their misunderstanding by limiting their exposure to my professional environment and colleagues. Their perception of my career was based on limited information about my daily activities and professional relationships, creating a gap in understanding that fostered misconceptions about my circumstances and satisfaction. The comparison between my current situation and my siblings' traditional success markers provided objective foundation
for family concerns about my choice. Miguel's homeownership and family establishment represented tangible achievements that contrasted with my studio apartment and absence of romantic relationship. Sophia's work-life balance and community involvement demonstrated lifestyle benefits that my demanding schedule prevented me from achieving. The temporal aspect of medical training created additional complexity in family communication, as the benefits and rewards of surgical expertise would become apparent only after completion of residency and fellowship training. The investment period required faith in long-term outcomes that challenged family members who preferred immediate evidence of progress and achievement. The professional relationships I had developed within the medical community provided perspective and support that my family relationships currently lacked. Colleagues understood the demands and rewards of surgical training, while offering encouragement and recognition for professional development. These relationships demonstrated that my career choice was both valued and valuable within appropriate professional context.
The patient interactions that provided daily meaning and purpose in my work were difficult to communicate to family members who lacked medical background or experience with healthcare delivery. The satisfaction derived from successful surgical outcomes and patient gratitude represented profound fulfillment that transcended financial considerations or lifestyle convenience. The research component of my residency training had generated preliminary results that suggested potential for significant contribution to cardiac surgery advancement through minimally invasive techniques. This academic achievement represented professional recognition that extended beyond clinical competence to include scholarly contribution to medical knowledge and surgical technique development. The teaching responsibilities I had assumed with junior residents and medical students revealed leadership capabilities and educational aptitude that suggested potential for academic medicine career development. These activities provided additional professional satisfaction while demonstrating expertise recognition by attending physicians and hospital administration. The fellowship opportunities under consideration would extend my training timeline while providing specialization that could establish me as a national expert in specific cardiac surgical technique. The additional investment in education represented strategic career development that would enhance both professional capability and long-term earning potential. The hospital environment where I trained represented one of the nation's premier cardiac surgery programs, providing exposure to complex cases and advanced techniques that few surgeons experience during residency. This training quality would create career opportunities and professional recognition that justified the current sacrifices and delayed gratification. The decision-making process regarding my response to family criticism required balancing multiple competing considerations, including relationship preservation, professional integrity, personal self-respect, and educational opportunity for family members. Each potential approach carried specific risks and benefits that needed evaluation within the context of long-term relationship goals and professional development priorities. The emotional preparation for potential confrontation involved acknowledging that fundamental change in family dynamics might be necessary to establish healthy relationships based on accurate understanding and mutual respect. The current pattern of criticism and defensive response had created dysfunctional communication cycles that prevented authentic connection and support. The consideration of my father's birthday celebration context added complexity to the decision about timing and approach for addressing family misconception. Respect for the celebration required balancing my need to defend my career with appropriate consideration for the social occasion and my father's desire for family harmony during his special evening. The internal assessment of my communication capabilities and conflict resolution skills provided confidence that I could present my perspective clearly and professionally while maintaining respect for family relationships. The surgical training had developed precise communication skills and emotional regulation capabilities that could be applied to family interactions when necessary. The recognition that continued acceptance of family criticism without response would perpetuate their misconceptions and undermine my professional confidence created urgency for establishing accurate understanding of my circumstances and achievement. The pattern of diplomatic avoidance had failed to preserve relationship quality while allowing destructive dynamics to persist and intensify. The evaluation of potential positive outcomes from direct confrontation included the possibility of educating family members about medical career realities and creating foundation for supportive relationships based on accurate understanding. Their current criticism stemmed from ignorance rather than malice, suggesting that proper information might transform their perspective and improve our relationship. The preparation for response required organizing complex information about medical training, surgical expertise, professional recognition, and career prospects into accessible format that could effectively communicate my circumstances without overwhelming family members with technical detail. The goal was education and understanding rather than professional intimidation or family alienation. The moment of decision approached as the family conversation continued around me, their criticism building toward unanimous conclusion that my career represented failure and required immediate correction. The internal conflict reached resolution as I recognized that defending my professional reality and personal choices had become necessary for maintaining self-respect and establishing authentic family relationships based on truth rather than misconception. The decision to defend my professional reality crystallized into action as I set down my coffee cup and addressed my family with measured composure. The approach I selected emphasized factual information about my training achievements and professional responsibilities rather than emotional appeals or defensive responses to their criticism. This strategy reflected my medical training in presenting complex information clearly while maintaining professional demeanor under pressure. My initial statement focused on correcting the fundamental misconception that residency training represented extended education rather than professional employment with significant patient care responsibility. I explained that my current position as a senior resident involved performing complex cardiac surgeries under attending supervision while managing comprehensive patient care, from preoperative evaluation through post-operative recovery monitoring. The description of my daily responsibilities included details about the morning surgical schedule that typically began at 6 o'clock with preoperative patient preparation and equipment verification. I outlined the complexity of cardiac procedures I performed regularly, including coronary artery bypass grafting, valve repairs, and emergency interventions that required advanced technical expertise and critical decision-making capability. The explanation of my professional development progression emphasized the competitive nature of cardiac surgery residency selection and the prestigious reputation of San Francisco General Hospital within the medical community. I described the rigorous evaluation process that had resulted in my acceptance to the program and the ongoing performance assessments that confirmed my advancement through increasingly complex surgical responsibility. My family's initial response revealed their continued inability to comprehend the significance of surgical training within medical career development. Uncle Carlos questioned why such extensive training was necessary when other medical specialties required shorter preparation periods while providing adequate professional satisfaction and financial return. His perspective reflected continued focus on efficiency and immediate outcomes rather than recognition of expertise development requirements. My mother's reaction emphasized her ongoing concern about work-life balance and personal sacrifice, questioning whether the demanding schedule and financial constraints justified the extended training commitment. Her comments suggested that professional fulfillment should be balanced with personal happiness and traditional life milestone achievement rather than requiring complete dedication to career development. Miguel's contribution to the discussion involved comparison between medical training requirements and construction industry advancement opportunities that provided more immediate progression and tangible success markers. His perspective highlighted the family's preference for career paths that offered predictable timelines and measurable achievement rather than specialized expertise development through extended preparation. Sophia's response focused on the educational aspects of my circumstances, questioning why additional years of training were necessary after completing medical school and suggesting that prolonged education indicated inefficient career planning. Her teaching background provided context for understanding educational progression, though she struggled to recognize the distinction between academic learning and professional skill development. The family's collective reaction demonstrated their interpretation of my explanation as defensive justification rather than educational information about professional reality. Their questions and comments suggested skepticism about the necessity of extended training and continued belief that alternative approaches would provide better outcomes with reduced personal sacrifice. My second attempt at explanation involved describing specific patient cases where surgical intervention had preserved life and restored cardiac function, emphasizing the profound responsibility and technical expertise required for successful outcome. I detailed the emergency surgery I had performed earlier that day, highlighting the complexity of decision-making and precision techniques necessary for optimal patient care. The description of James Morrison's case included technical details about coronary artery disease pathology and surgical correction methods, though I attempted to present this information in accessible language that would demonstrate expertise without overwhelming family members with medical terminology. The explanation emphasized the direct correlation between surgical competence and patient survival outcome. The patient care continuity aspects of cardiac surgery practice required explanation of post-operative monitoring responsibilities and long-term follow-up care that extended surgical relationships beyond the operating room. I described the comprehensive nature of cardiac surgery practice that involved patient advocacy, family communication, and multidisciplinary collaboration throughout treatment process. The research component of my professional development received attention as I explained current projects examining minimally invasive surgical techniques and their potential for improving patient outcomes while reducing recovery time. This academic work represented contribution to medical knowledge advancement that extended beyond individual patient care to benefit broader cardiac surgery practice. My family's response to these detailed explanations revealed their continued focus on practical considerations rather than professional significance recognition. My father questioned the financial wisdom of extended training that delayed earning potential while accumulating additional debt through fellowship preparation and research activities that appeared to extend educational timeline indefinitely. The discussion of fellowship opportunities created additional confusion as family members struggled to understand why specialization beyond general cardiac surgery training was necessary or beneficial. Their questions revealed assumption that medical education should conclude with immediate practice establishment rather than continued expertise development through subspecialty training. Uncle Carlos suggested that my detailed explanations demonstrated excessive complexity in career planning and recommended consideration of simpler medical practice options that would provide adequate professional satisfaction without requiring extreme dedication and lifestyle sacrifice. His perspective reflected continued belief that alternative approaches would yield better work-life balance outcomes. My cousin Patricia reinforced this viewpoint by questioning whether patients truly required such specialized expertise for cardiac care, suggesting that general medical practitioners could provide adequate treatment for most conditions. Her comments revealed fundamental understanding of cardiac surgery complexity and the specialized knowledge required for optimal patient outcome. The family's inability to recognize the significance of my professional accomplishments became increasingly apparent as their questions focused on timeline completion rather than expertise demonstration or patient care impact. Their continued emphasis on traditional success markers indicated persistent disconnection from medical career realities and professional development requirements. My third explanatory attempt involved describing the hospital environment where I trained and the national reputation of our cardiac surgery program within the medical community. I explained the competitive nature of fellowship applications and the recognition my research work had received through conference presentations and publication opportunities. The description of professional relationships with attending physicians and departmental leadership emphasized the mentorship and advancement opportunities available through continued training excellence. Wang's guidance and the progressive responsibility increases that demonstrated professional confidence in my capabilities and potential for surgical leadership. The teaching responsibilities I had assumed with junior residents and medical students represented additional evidence of professional recognition and expertise development that warranted explanation. These activities demonstrated leadership capabilities while contributing to medical education and surgical training program excellence. My family's response to these explanations revealed their interpretation of professional achievements as abstract accomplishments that lacked practical value or immediate benefit. Their questions continued focusing on timeline concerns and lifestyle implications rather than recognition of expertise significance or career advancement potential. The discussion reached a critical juncture when my mother expressed concern that my detailed explanations suggested defensive rationalization of poor decisions rather than confident presentation of professional achievement. Her observation indicated that my family interpreted expertise demonstration as evidence of insecurity rather than legitimate career accomplishment description. My father's contribution involved questioning whether my professional satisfaction justified the personal costs of extended training and delayed life milestone achievement. His comments suggested belief that career fulfillment should be balanced with traditional success markers rather than requiring complete dedication to professional excellence. The family's collective response demonstrated their unified perspective that my career choice represented excessive complexity and sacrifice compared to alternative approaches that would provide adequate professional satisfaction with improved work-life balance. Their unanimous recommendation for career modification indicated complete rejection of my explanatory effort. The realization that factual information and professional achievement description had failed to create understanding or appreciation for my career significance generated profound disappointment about communication effectiveness and family relationship potential. Their continued criticism, despite detailed explanation, suggested fundamental incompatibility between their values and my professional reality. The restaurant environment had provided constraints that prevented emotional escalation during this initial explanatory attempt, though the underlying tension continued building as my family maintained their critical perspective despite my educational effort. The public setting required continued composure while internal frustration mounted regarding their persistent misunderstanding. The recognition that logical explanation and professional achievement demonstration had proven insufficient for creating family understanding indicated that alternative approaches would be necessary for establishing accurate perception of my career value and personal circumstance. The failure of this initial attempt created urgency for developing more effective communication strategies. The emotional impact of family rejection of my explanatory efforts generated internal conflict about relationship priorities and the value of continued attempts to establish understanding. Their unified dismissal of my professional accomplishments suggested that fundamental change in family dynamics would be necessary for authentic relationship development based on mutual respect and accurate perception. The immediate aftermath of my failed explanation required careful emotional regulation and strategic reassessment while maintaining appropriate composure within the restaurant setting. The realization that factual information and professional achievement description had proven insufficient for creating family understanding demanded fundamental revision of my communication approach and expectations regarding relationship dynamics. The analysis of my family's response patterns revealed their consistent interpretation of my explanation as defensive justification rather than legitimate professional accomplishment description. Their unified perspective suggested that alternative communication strategies would be necessary for penetrating established misconceptions and creating authentic understanding of my career significance and personal satisfaction. The restaurant environment continued to provide public constraints that prevented emotional escalation while requiring sustained professional demeanor despite internal frustration regarding family resistance to accurate information about my circumstance. The birthday celebration context added complexity to strategic planning, as respect for my father's special occasion remained paramount despite urgent need for relationship dynamic correction.
The immediate tactical decision involved temporary withdrawal from active explanation attempts while observing family interaction patterns and identifying potential opportunities for more effective communication approach. This strategic pause allowed for emotional regulation and analytical assessment of individual family member perspectives that might reveal differential receptivity to alternative presentation methods. The evaluation of my initial communication approach identified several factors that had contributed to its ineffectiveness in creating family understanding. The technical complexity of medical information had exceeded their knowledge base, while the professional achievement emphasis had triggered defensive responses that reinforced their perception of my career as problematic rather than accomplished. The cultural context of our Latino family dynamics required consideration within strategy revision processes, as traditional emphasis on collective decision-making and family harmony created resistance to individual career choices that appeared to prioritize professional advancement over family relationships and community integration. These cultural factors had influenced family interpretation of my explanations as evidence of disconnection from family value. The recognition that my family measured success through immediate tangible outcomes rather than long-term professional development necessitated communication strategy adjustment that emphasized concrete achievements and measurable progress within their comprehension framework. This approach required translation of medical accomplishments into terminology and concepts that aligned with their success measurement preferences. The assessment of individual family member perspectives revealed varying degrees of receptivity to alternative information presentation approach. My father's business experience suggested potential appreciation for career development timelines and professional investment strategies when presented within familiar business terminology and achievement framework. My mother's administrative work background indicated possible understanding of professional hierarchy and advancement processes when explained through organizational structure and responsibility progression that corresponded to her workplace experience. Her concerns about work-life balance required addressing through demonstration of professional satisfaction and long-term lifestyle benefits. Miguel's construction management experience provided context for understanding complex project timelines and specialized skill development that required extended preparation periods. His practical orientation suggested potential appreciation for surgical expertise when presented through craftsmanship and technical mastery analogies that resonated with construction industry value. Sophia's educational background offered the strongest foundation for understanding extended learning processes and expertise development through progressive skill acquisition. Her teaching experience included exposure to student development timelines and performance evaluation methods that could provide framework for comprehending medical training progression. The extended family member perspectives required separate consideration, as their limited interaction with circumstances created additional barriers to understanding that necessitated simplified communication approaches focused on broad professional recognition rather than detailed competency description. Their influence on family consensus demanded strategic attention despite peripheral relationship status. The temporal aspect of strategy revision involved recognizing that comprehensive family education could not occur within a single evening conversation, particularly during a birthday celebration that demanded appropriate social consideration. The development of longer-term communication plans would be necessary for creating sustained understanding and relationship improvement. The emotional preparation for continued family interaction required acknowledgement that my initial disappointment regarding their response reflected unrealistic expectations about rapid perspective change. The established patterns of misunderstanding had developed over years and would require sustained effort and alternative approaches for effective modification. The professional competence that sustained me through demanding surgical training provided foundation for maintaining composure and strategic thinking despite family rejection of my explanatory effort. The recognition that external validation was not dependent upon family approval allowed for continued commitment to career excellence while developing alternative relationship approaches. The consideration of potential family motivations beyond simple misunderstanding revealed genuine concern for my well-being, combined with cultural expectations that created resistance to career choices requiring personal sacrifice and delayed gratification. These underlying factors required acknowledgement and addressing within revised communication strategy. The restaurant environment observation revealed family interaction patterns during non-contentious conversation topics that demonstrated their capacity for supportive communication and mutual appreciation when discussing achievements that aligned with their understanding and value. These positive dynamics suggested potential for relationship improvement through appropriate communication approach modification. The analysis of successful communication examples from my medical training provided guidance for strategy revision. As patient and family education experiences had taught effective methods for presenting complex information in accessible formats while maintaining professional authority and creating understanding compliance. The recognition that my family's unified resistance to my career explanation reflected established group dynamics rather than individual assessment suggested that alternative approaches targeting individual family members might prove more effective than continued group discussion attempts during family gatherings. The development of specific communication strategies for each family member required consideration of their professional backgrounds, personal interests, and individual concerns about my circumstance. This personalized approach would allow for targeted information presentation that addressed their specific questions and misconceptions while building foundation for improved understanding. The preparation of concrete achievement examples that demonstrated professional recognition within accessible frameworks became priority for future family communication. These examples would emphasize external validation and measurable progress that corresponded to their success evaluation preferences, while minimizing technical complexity that had previously created confusion. The research into family education resources about medical careers provided additional tools for creating understanding about surgical training requirements and professional development timelines. These materials could supplement personal explanation efforts while providing authoritative external sources that might carry greater credibility than my individual assertion. The strategic planning for individual family member conversations included identification of optimal timing and settings for private discussions that would allow for detailed explanation without group dynamic interference. These separate conversations would permit customized information presentation while avoiding collective resistance patterns that had characterized group discussion. The development of visual aids and documentation that demonstrated professional achievements provided concrete evidence for family education efforts. These materials would include performance evaluations, research publications, and professional recognition letters that established objective validation of my career progress and expertise development. The consideration of external validation sources that could reinforce my explanations included potential introduction of family members to my professional colleagues and hospital environment. These direct exposure opportunities would provide independent confirmation of my career significance while allowing family members to observe professional interactions and workplace dynamics. The emotional preparation for sustained family education efforts required recognition that relationship improvement would necessitate patience and persistence despite continued resistance to initial attempts. The long-term perspective emphasized gradual understanding development rather than immediate comprehensive acceptance of my career choices and circumstances. The strategic timeline for family relationship improvement involved realistic expectation setting about progress measurement and success indicators. The goal shifted from immediate family approval to gradual understanding development that would eventually create foundation for supportive relationships based on accurate perception of my professional reality. The resource allocation for family education efforts required balancing time and energy investment in relationship improvement with continued commitment to professional excellence and career advancement. The strategic approach emphasized efficiency and communication while maintaining priority focus on surgical training and patient care responsibility. The backup strategy development included preparation for potential family relationship deterioration if education efforts proved unsuccessful in creating understanding and acceptance. This contingency planning involved strengthening professional relationships and support networks while maintaining hope for eventual family dynamic improvement. The immediate tactical adjustment for the remainder of the birthday dinner involved strategic conversation, redirection toward topics that would allow family celebration, continuation, while avoiding further confrontation about career issues. This approach would preserve social occasion integrity while providing time for strategy revision and planning alternative communication approaches. The recognition that fundamental change in family dynamics would be necessary for authentic relationship development based on mutual respect and accurate understanding created motivation for sustained effort despite initial communication. The long-term vision emphasized relationship quality improvement through education and patience rather than immediate conflict resolution. The preparation for departure from the restaurant included consideration of appropriate conclusion to the evening that would maintain family celebration spirit while establishing foundation for future individual conversation about career circumstance. The goal involved preserving relationship potential while avoiding commitment to immediate career modification that would compromise professional development. The recognition that my family relationships required fundamental restructuring prompted deliberate investment and professional and personal connection that could provide the understanding and support that had been absent from my primary relationship. This strategic approach to relationship building represented a crucial component of personal development that would sustain me through the demanding final phases of residency training while establishing foundation for long-term career success.
The medical community at San Francisco General Hospital offered numerous opportunities for meaningful professional relationships that extended beyond simple colleague interactions to encompass mentorship, collaboration, and genuine friendship based on shared values and mutual professional respect. These relationships provided emotional support while contributing to career advancement through knowledge sharing and professional development opportunities. Patricia Wong's mentorship had evolved beyond traditional attending resident supervision to encompass comprehensive career guidance and personal support that addressed both professional development and personal well-being concerns. Her experience as a female cardiac surgeon provided invaluable perspective on navigating gender-specific challenges within the specialty while maintaining excellence in patient care and professional advancement. The weekly mentorship meetings with Dr. Wong had become essential sources of guidance and encouragement that sustained my motivation during challenging periods. These discussions addressed technical skill development, case management strategies, research opportunities, and career planning, while providing safe space for expressing concerns about work-life balance and family relationship difficulties. Wong's introduction to the Women in Cardiac Surgery professional organization created access to a national network of female surgeons who had successfully navigated similar challenges throughout their career development. This community provided examples of diverse approaches to managing professional excellence alongside personal fulfillment and family relationships. The quarterly meetings of the Women in Cardiac Surgery local chapter offered opportunities for discussion and problem-solving around issues specific to female surgeons, including work-life integration, family planning consideration, and strategies for managing gender bias within surgical environments. These discussions provided practical guidance while reinforcing the viability of surgical careers for women. The development of peer relationships with fellow cardiac surgery residents created mutually supportive networks that provided both professional collaboration and personal friendship based on shared experiences and common challenges. These relationships offered understanding and encouragement that complemented formal mentorship while providing practical assistance during demanding periods. Dr. Sarah Chen, a fellow senior resident who had joined the program 1 year after me, had become a particularly valuable colleague and friend whose perspective and support proved essential during difficult family interaction. Her experience with similar family pressures regarding career choices created foundation for mutual understanding and strategic collaboration on relationship management approaches. The collaboration with Chen on research projects examining minimally invasive cardiac surgery techniques had strengthened our professional relationship while producing preliminary results that attracted attention from national cardiac surgery conferences. This academic partnership demonstrated the benefits of peer collaboration while advancing both of our career development objectives. The establishment of regular study groups with fellow residents created structured opportunities for knowledge sharing and collaborative learning that enhanced individual preparation while building professional relationships. These sessions addressed complex case analysis, surgical technique refinement, and examination preparation while providing social interaction and mutual support. The attending physician relationships that had developed throughout my residency training provided diverse perspectives on cardiac surgery practice and career development options. Each attending surgeon offered unique insights based on their individual career paths, subspecialty expertise, and practice management approaches that informed my understanding of potential future directions. Dr. Michael Rodriguez, the director of minimally invasive cardiac surgery, had become an informal mentor whose expertise aligned with my research interests and career aspirations. His guidance regarding fellowship opportunities and subspecialty development provided strategic direction, while his encouragement reinforced my confidence in pursuing advanced training beyond residency completion. The nursing staff relationships within the cardiac surgery department had evolved from basic professional interaction to genuine collegial respect and friendship based on shared commitment to patient care. Excellent. These relationships provided daily support and encouragement while contributing to optimal surgical team dynamics and patient care outcomes. The multidisciplinary team relationships that characterized cardiac surgery practice created opportunities for collaboration with cardiologists, perfusionists, anesthesiologists, and other specialists who contributed diverse perspectives and expertise to patient care. These professional relationships enhanced my understanding of comprehensive cardiac care while providing networking opportunities for future career development. The participation in national cardiac surgery conferences had facilitated connections with surgeons from academic institutions across the country, creating professional networks that extended beyond my immediate training environment. These relationships provided exposure to diverse practice models and career development approaches, while establishing contacts for potential fellowship opportunities. The presentation of research findings at the American Association for Thoracic Surgery annual meeting had attracted attention from established cardiac surgeons who expressed interest in my work and offered guidance regarding career development and research continuation. These interactions provided external validation while creating opportunities for future collaboration and mentorship. The involvement in professional societies including the Society of Thoracic Surgeons and the American College of Surgeons provided access to educational resource and networking opportunities and professional development programs that complemented my residency training while establishing connections within the broader cardiac surgery community. The development of relationships with cardiac surgery fellows who had recently completed training provided insight into the transition from residency to independent practice while offering practical guidance about fellowship selection, job market considerations, and practice establishment. These perspectives informed my career planning while providing realistic expectations about post-training challenges and opportunities. The interaction with international cardiac surgery visitors and exchange fellows created exposure to global perspectives on surgical training and practice that broadened my understanding of career possibilities while establishing international professional connections. These relationships provided cultural enrichment while demonstrating diverse approaches to surgical excellence and professional development. The volunteer work with community health organizations had created opportunities for medical service delivery outside the hospital environment, while establishing relationships with community leaders and healthcare advocates. These activities provided perspective on healthcare access issues, while demonstrating alternative applications of medical expertise for community benefit. The participation in medical mission trips to underserved regions had strengthened my commitment to surgical excellence, while providing opportunities for relationship building with surgeons who prioritized humanitarian service alongside professional achievement. These experiences demonstrated diverse approaches to career fulfillment while establishing connections with like-minded healthcare professionals. The development of teaching relationships with medical students and junior residents had revealed my aptitude for education and mentorship, while providing opportunities for leadership development and knowledge share. These relationships offered mutual benefit through learning exchange while preparing me for potential academic medicine career paths. The establishment of social relationships outside the medical community had required deliberate effort due to time constraints and energy limitations, though these connections provided essential balance and perspective that complemented professional relations. These friendships offered escape from medical environment intensity while providing normal social interaction and recreational activity. The relationship with David Martinez, a physical therapist at the hospital, had developed gradually from professional collaboration on patient care to personal friendship and eventual romantic interest. His understanding of healthcare demands and flexible schedule had accommodated my residency constraints while providing emotional support and companionship during stressful periods. The evolution of the relationship with David had demonstrated that meaningful personal connections remained possible despite demanding professional commitments when both individuals understood and supported each other's career priorities. His encouragement regarding my family situation had provided perspective and emotional support that facilitated strategic thinking about relationship management. The introduction of David to my professional colleagues had strengthened our relationship while providing him with deeper understanding of my work environment and career significance. These interactions had reinforced his appreciation for my professional accomplishments while creating additional support for my career choices and family relationship challenges. The consideration of long-term relationship potential with David had prompted discussions about career priorities, geographic preferences, and family planning that required careful balancing of professional and personal objectives. These conversations had revealed compatibility regarding major life decisions, while establishing foundation for sustained relationship development. The support system expansion, through professional and personal relationship development, had created emotional stability and encouragement that sustained me through family relationship difficulties, while maintaining focus on career excellence and personal growth. These relationships provided alternative sources of validation and understanding when family support proved unavailable. The recognition that healthy relationships required mutual understanding, respect, and support had informed my approach to both professional and personal relationship development, while highlighting the deficiencies in my family relationships that necessitated strategic intervention. The contrast between supportive professional relationships and critical family dynamics had clarified the importance of surrounding myself with individuals who recognized and appreciated my accomplishments. The preparation for potential family relationship deterioration had included strengthening alternative support networks that could provide emotional stability and practical assistance during difficult periods. These relationships offered insurance against isolation, while maintaining hope for eventual family dynamic improvement through sustained education and patience. The systematic enhancement of surgical competencies during the final year of residency training demanded unprecedented dedication to technical mastery, while simultaneously expanding theoretical knowledge that would define my transition from supervised trainee to independent cardiac surgeon. This comprehensive development process required strategic planning and sustained commitment that would establish the foundation for subspecialty fellowship training and eventual professional leadership within the cardiac surgery community. The progression to senior resident responsibilities had created opportunities for primary surgeon roles in increasingly complex procedures that tested both technical capabilities and decision-making expertise under challenging circumstances. These advanced cases required synthesis of anatomical knowledge, procedural experience, and clinical judgment that demonstrated readiness for independent practice, while revealing areas requiring continued refinement and development. The mastery of minimally invasive cardiac surgery techniques had become a primary focus of my skill development efforts, as this emerging subspecialty represented the future direction of cardiac surgical practice and aligned with my research interests in patient outcome optimization. The technical precision required for these procedures demanded extensive practice and mentorship from specialized attending surgeons who possessed advanced expertise in these innovative approaches. Rodriguez had assumed primary responsibility for my minimally invasive training, providing structured educational experiences that progressed from observation to assisted performance to independent execution under supervision. His teaching methodology emphasized understanding the theoretical principles underlying procedural modifications, while developing the manual dexterity and spatial awareness necessary for successful outcome. The robotic surgery training program at San Francisco General Hospital had provided exposure to cutting-edge technology that represented the frontier of cardiac surgical innovation. The learning curve for robotic-assisted procedures required dedicated simulation time and progressive skill building that complemented traditional surgical training, while preparing for future practice environments where technological integration would be essential. The simulation laboratory sessions had become integral components of my weekly training schedule, providing opportunities for procedural practice without patient risk, while allowing for repetitive skill refinement and error correction. These controlled learning environments permitted experimentation with technique variations and strategic planning for complex cases that enhanced confidence and competence during actual surgical procedure. The cadaveric surgery workshops offered invaluable opportunities for anatomical study and procedural practice that bridged theoretical knowledge and clinical application. These sessions provided detailed exposure to anatomical variations and pathological conditions that informed surgical planning, while allowing for technique development without time pressures or patient safety concerns. The comprehensive case review process had evolved to include detailed analysis of surgical decision-making, technique selection, and outcome optimization strategies that enhanced learning from each procedural experience. These reviews involved multidisciplinary discussion with attending surgeons, residents, and allied health professionals who contributed diverse perspectives on case management and outcome improvement. The research activities supporting my academic development had expanded to include multiple concurrent projects examining different aspects of cardiac surgical practice and outcome optimization. The primary investigation focused on comparative outcomes between traditional and minimally invasive approaches for specific patient populations, while secondary studies addressed perfusion strategies and postoperative care protocol. The data collection and statistical analysis required for research completion had necessitated development of expertise in clinical research methodology and biostatistics that complemented surgical training while preparing for academic medicine career path. These analytical skills provided foundation for evidence-based practice and contributed to critical evaluation of medical literature and treatment protocols. The manuscript preparation process had taught essential communication skills for professional publication, while requiring synthesis of complex clinical data into accessible formats for peer review and medical community education. The collaboration with senior investigators provided mentorship in academic writing, while establishing publication records necessary for fellowship applications and career advancement. The presentation skills, developed through research conference participation, had enhanced my ability to communicate complex medical information to diverse audiences, while establishing professional recognition within the cardiac surgery community. These experiences provided confidence in public speaking, while creating networking opportunities with established surgeons and research. The teaching responsibilities assigned to senior residents had required development of educational skills and pedagogical understanding that prepared for future academic responsibilities, while contributing to departmental training programs. The mentorship of junior residents and medical students provided opportunities for knowledge consolidation while developing leadership capabilities essential for career advancement. The curriculum development activities within the residency program had involved creation of educational materials and assessment tools that enhanced training effectiveness, while providing experience in medical education administration. These projects demonstrated initiative and leadership while contributing to program improvement and accreditation maintenance. The quality improvement initiatives within the cardiac surgery department
had provided exposure to healthcare administration and systems optimization that complemented clinical training while developing skills necessary for future leadership positions. These projects addressed patient safety, outcome improvement, and resource utilization, while demonstrating commitment to excellence beyond individual case management. The multidisciplinary collaboration required for quality improvement work had enhanced understanding of healthcare delivery systems, while building relationships with administrators, quality specialists, and other stakeholders who influenced cardiac surgery practice. These experiences provided perspective on practice management and organizational dynamics that would inform future career decisions. The professional development activities included participation in surgical society meetings, continuing medical education programs, and specialty training courses that maintained current knowledge while establishing connections within the cardiac surgery community. These activities demonstrated commitment to lifelong learning while building professional networks essential for career advancement. The board examination preparation had required comprehensive review of cardiac surgery knowledge, spanning anatomy, physiology, pathology, and therapeutic approaches that consolidated learning from residency training while ensuring competency certification. This intensive study process reinforced theoretical foundations while identifying knowledge gaps requiring additional attention. The clinical rotation experiences in related specialties had provided broader medical knowledge and appreciation for multidisciplinary patient care that enhanced cardiac surgery practice while developing collaborative relationships with other specialists. These rotations included intensive care medicine, interventional cardiology, and transplant surgery that expanded clinical expertise while providing alternative career perspective. The international surgical experience, through visiting fellowships, had exposed different surgical techniques and practice models while providing cultural education and global perspective on cardiac surgery practice. These experiences demonstrated adaptability while establishing international professional connections that could influence future career opportunities. The language development activities had enhanced communication capabilities with diverse patient populations while preparing for potential international practice or collaboration opportunity. The ability to communicate effectively with Spanish-speaking patients had particular relevance given my family background and the demographic characteristics of many patients served by San Francisco General Hospital. The business and practice management education had provided understanding of healthcare economics and practice administration that would inform future career decisions while developing skills necessary for private practice or academic medicine leadership positions. These courses addressed financial management, practice development, and healthcare policy that complemented clinical training. The leadership development programs within the hospital had provided opportunities for administrative experience and organizational understanding that prepared for future departmental leadership roles. These experiences included committee participation, policy development, and strategic planning that demonstrated commitment to institutional advancement while developing essential leadership competence. The mentor relationship expansion had included identification of surgeons whose career paths aligned with my interest and aspirations, while providing diverse perspectives on professional development and practice management. These relationships offered guidance regarding fellowship selection, geographic considerations, and subspecialty focus that informed strategic career planning. The peer collaboration networks had extended beyond the immediate training program to include residents and fellows from other institutions who provided comparative perspectives on training experiences while establishing professional relationships that would continue throughout our career. These connections offered mutual support while creating opportunities for future collaboration and knowledge sharing. The patient care excellence initiatives had focused on outcome optimization and satisfaction improvement that demonstrated commitment to clinical excellence while developing skills in patient advocacy and care coordination. These efforts included development of patient education materials and follow-up protocols that enhanced care quality while establishing reputation for exceptional patient service. The innovation projects within the department had provided opportunities for creative problem solving and process improvement that demonstrated initiative while contributing to departmental advancement. These projects addressed equipment optimization, workflow improvement, and technology integration that enhanced surgical capabilities while preparing for future practice environments. The skill assessment and competency evaluation processes had provided objective measures of surgical development while identifying specific areas requiring continued attention and improvement. These evaluations included technical skills assessment, decision-making evaluation, and professional behavior review that ensured readiness for independent practice while maintaining high standards for patient safety and care quality. The preparation for fellowship applications had required comprehensive portfolio development that demonstrated academic achievement, research productivity, and clinical excellence, while articulating career goals and subspecialty interests. This process involved careful selection of programs that aligned with my interest, while maximizing opportunities for advanced training and career development. The opportunity to implement my revised family communication strategy emerged 6 weeks after the birthday dinner confrontation, when my father experienced a minor cardiac event that required emergency department evaluation at San Francisco General Hospital. This unexpected circumstance provided the perfect context for demonstrating my professional competence while educating my family about the significance of cardiac surgery expertise through direct exposure to my workplace environment and colleague interaction. The emergency call from my mother arrived at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon, while I was reviewing preoperative imaging studies for the following day's surgical schedule. Her voice carried the unmistakable tension of genuine fear as she described my father's chest pain and shortness of breath that had prompted their immediate drive to our emergency department, despite the 45-minute distance from their home in San Jose. The decision to personally respond to this family emergency represented both natural concern for my father's welfare and strategic opportunity to address the fundamental misunderstandings that had characterized our recent interaction. The hospital setting would provide authoritative context for demonstrating my professional standing, while allowing family members to observe the respect and recognition I received from colleagues and staff throughout the institution. The coordination with the emergency medicine team ensured appropriate evaluation protocols while maintaining professional boundaries regarding family member treatment. Jennifer Walsh, the attending emergency physician, understood the delicate balance required when treating colleague, family members, and provided comprehensive assessment while keeping me informed of findings and treatment plans through appropriate channels. The initial cardiac evaluation revealed evidence of unstable angina requiring immediate cardiology consultation and potential interventional cardiology assessment for coronary artery disease evaluation. The diagnostic process included electrocardiogram analysis, cardiac enzyme testing, and stress testing protocols that would determine the extent of coronary pathology and appropriate treatment approach. My family's arrival at the emergency department provided the first opportunity for them to observe my professional environment and witness the interactions that characterized my daily workplace relationship. The immediate recognition I received from nursing staff, residents, and attending physicians demonstrated the respect and professional standing that contradicted their perception of my career circumstance. The registration process had been expedited through my professional connections, while ensuring appropriate documentation and insurance verification procedures. The nursing staff assigned to my father's care included several individuals with whom I had developed excellent working relationships through years of collaborative patient care in surgical and intensive care settings. The conversation with Dr. Walsh regarding my father's condition provided opportunity for my family to observe professional medical communication while witnessing the collegial respect that characterized my relationships with attending physicians. Her consultation with me regarding treatment options demonstrated the professional recognition that my family had failed to acknowledge during our previous discussion. The cardiology consultation request had been facilitated through my professional relationships, while maintaining appropriate medical protocols and consultation procedures. Stephen Chen, the interventional cardiologist assigned to my father's case, represented one of the most respected specialists within our institution, and had become a valued colleague through years of collaborative patient care. The introduction of my family to Dr. Chen provided opportunity for indirect education about my professional standing through his comments regarding our collaborative relationship and his recognition of my surgical expertise. His casual references to cases we had managed together and his consultation request for my surgical opinion demonstrated professional respect that my family had not previously witnessed. The waiting period during diagnostic testing allowed for family conversation that differed markedly from our previous interactions due to the hospital environment and their growing awareness of my professional relationship. The emergency department setting provided neutral territory where my expertise was evident, while their anxiety about my father's condition created receptivity to information about cardiac care. The explanation of diagnostic procedures and potential treatment options required translation of complex medical information into accessible language, while demonstrating my comprehensive understanding of cardiac pathology and therapeutic approaches. This educational process provided opportunity for my family to observe my clinical knowledge while understanding the significance of my training and expertise. The nursing staff interactions throughout the emergency department visit reinforced the professional respect and recognition that characterized my workplace relationship. Their inquiries about my current cases and consultation requests for patient care advice demonstrated the collegial relationships that had developed through years of collaborative excellence in patient care delivery. The diagnostic imaging studies revealed significant coronary artery disease, requiring urgent intervention to prevent progression to myocardial infarction. The findings necessitated immediate transfer to the cardiac catheterization laboratory for diagnostic angiography and potential percutaneous coronary intervention to restore adequate coronary circulation. The discussion of treatment options provided opportunity for comprehensive family education about cardiac disease pathology and therapeutic approaches, while demonstrating my expertise in cardiac care coordination and treatment plan. This conversation allowed me to explain complex medical concepts while illustrating the clinical knowledge that my family had previously dismissed as theoretical rather than practical.
Dr. Chen's request for my presence during the cardiac catheterization procedure represented professional recognition that impressed my family while providing opportunity for them to understand the collaborative nature of cardiac care delivery. His invitation for my consultation regarding procedural approach demonstrated respect for my expertise while allowing family observation of professional interactions. The procedural preparation included detailed explanation of angiographic techniques and potential interventional approaches that required synthesis of anatomical knowledge and therapeutic understanding. This educational process provided opportunity for demonstrating comprehensive clinical expertise while addressing family questions about procedural risks and expected outcomes. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.